stretch of the imagination met his hour of trial.
Yes.
In the same manner as any man or woman who have attempted to live close to God. The Bible describes him as an righteous man, one who was perfect. And in this context, it came a series of complexities. In other words, came one problem after another one. Problems that include some disasters. Disasters that destroyed his barns and his livestock. Disasters that included the death among his family members. But Job himself searching within, asking the question, what shall I do now? The Bible takes verse 5, Job saying, what shall I do when God rise up? What shall I do when God, who created the universe in the palm of his hand, set the sun in his blazing socket? What shall I do when God rise up? Job could have decided to rebel against God. But he would have come like the shaft that which the wind drives away. Or he could have done like the lilies of the field that bowed in the face of a strong wind. What can I do when God rise up? Can I appeal his decision to the sun? Can I appeal God's decision to the moon? Could I appeal God's decision to the stars that hover over the earth? I must tell you the answer is no. For the scripture teaches us that the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. We have only God to look to. My brothers and sisters, we have only God. We have to look to God on the Son to find our answer. My brothers and sisters, when he too faced an hour of pain and hurt, he drew away into a private place and he talked to God all about it. But he concluded that not my will, but let thy will be done. When the question forms and dark through our minds and prompt us to ask, what would God allow the terrible thing to come into our family? Why would he not pass by and select a less abstracted family member? Why would God allow this tragedy? My brothers and sisters, in this one of the truly faithful family members. For the answer I hear from the words of the songwriter. When death have come and taken a loved one, it leaves our home so lonely and dear. Then do we wonder why others prosper, living so wicked year after year. But then my brothers and sisters, the songwriter says, Father alone, we know all about it. Father alone, we shall understand why. Cheer up, my brother, and live in the sunshine. We shall understand it all by and by. So then, my brothers and sisters, what do we do now that God has moved? So then, my brothers and sisters, the circular frame, our taste bring into our consideration that we shouldn't do now that God has risen and visited the family. What do we do in the aftermath? Again, the question prelude. what shall I do? Job found that God had made a decision that affected his life. But the question that he posed in my text is, what do I do now that God has moved in my life? He obviously could not hinder God from moving, and had not brought the situation on himself. So the only conclusion that he could have reached is that his God would deliver him. We have to trust the Lord, because God will deliver. And then determine what he should do in the aftermath. In the aftermath of his trial, Job first conclude that he will remain loyal to God. And I heard his word echo across the century. You should, yet though you slay me, yet will I serve him. What shall I do now? That is a common question even of the faithful. We have spent our life together enjoying many moments of happiness. Experience filled with failure and success. But what shall we do now? What course lies ahead for the men now? What route should you take? When King David cried over the sickness of his son, he wept and prayed and covered himself. He covered himself in the ashes. His countenance was low. His spirit was grown. His spirit grown weak. But when his child died, he ceased his mourning, washed himself, went into the temple to pray. He told his servant that while the child was sick, there was a chance that he could influence the movement of God's will. But now that he was gone, God would have been shown. He concluded, I shall go to him, but he shall not come to me. So Job asked the question, what shall we do now? Now that God has visited and moved in the family, what shall we do? Shall we withdraw from life? Shall we study and fade in the image? Shall we resign the future realization? Should we back off an unclean dream? Shall we retire to the misty water of color memories of days gone by and by? I'll stop by to tell you, not so. You shall move on. We shall pay a fitting tribute to the memory of a life well spent. We shall cling close together. We shall draw from each other's strength. You shall hold on to one another. Should hold on and support one another. But when the day of mourning have passed, will rise from the occasion. You shall rise with confidence. So then, my brothers and my sisters, as we look at this text, as you find Job talking about, as Job talk about the life of Jesus, as Job talk about what God have done, Job asked the question, what shall I do now? Then my brothers and my sister, I conclude with the answer, what shall I do now? Well, I stopped by to tell you, you need a lean and depend. Lean and depend on the Lord. What shall you do now? As David says, I look to the hills. I look to the hills.